야, 비싼 복이죠.
말 되네. 일단 두갑 주고.
가서 좀.
자, 잘들 보시오.
Before we start, please support our channel by subscribing, and click the bell icon for future notifications. Now, let's start. Dae-gil was a child when he saw a strange man arrive at his family's restaurant, claiming to be sent by the kid's uncle to bring them money so they wouldn't have to worry. Dae-gil was very impressed by this man who gave him a tip for being a good boy, and he took advantage of the opportunity to make up reasons why he should be tipped more. The man admired the boy's intelligence and gave him extra money, remarking that he would make a good hustler, and when Dae-gil expressed an interest in the word, the random person taught him the tricks of the trade. Since that day, Dae-gil is already gambling and winning by tricking at every opportunity, beginning with pogs in middle school and progressing to real money in high school. Dae-gil is now an adult and works as a delivery boy, yet he still plays card games to keep gambling. Dae-gil is invited to a game at Kwak Do-won's house one day, and he meets Mina, Kwak Do-won's sister, who is tired of seeing Kwak Do-won waste so much money on an addiction. Dae-gil falls in love with her right away and attempts to ask her out, but Mina reacts by screaming to make her brother believe she is being attacked and convincing him to beat up Dae-gil. Dae-gil sees his grandfather sneak out and go to a gambling den on his way home, where the old man loses and causes a commotion by accusing everyone of cheating. Grandpa is taken to another room by the guy in charge, Ghost, and his bodyguard to be beaten up for his behavior. Dae-gil comes to his aid, and after surprising the bodyguard from behind, he confronts Ghost, who is armed with a knife. Dae-gil accidentally stabs Ghost during the struggle, so he and Grandpa flee before they are apprehended. Dae-gil's mother gives him the bag of money that his uncle sent him years ago but she never touched, telling him to go to the big city and hide for a while. Dae-gil agrees that this is the best option, but just before leaving, he stops by Mina's house to tell her that he isn't good enough for her right now, but that he will return as a better, more worthy man and marry her. When Dae-gil arrives in the city, he rents an old studio apartment and chats his old friend Charlie, who works in a well-known gambling establishment. Charlie's job is to impersonate another player in order to cheat the real attendants and then return the money to the boss, Kang, who pays him a commission. Dae-gil gets a job as a skivvy thanks to Charlie, and he uses his charms and tricks to sell a lot of refreshments and cigarettes to the customers, earning him extra tips. During his shifts, he also meets the den's other employees, such as Seo and Madam Song, who, such as Charlie, pretend to be players in order to cause everyone to lose. There was also Ms. Woo, a lovely widow customer on whom Dae-gil quickly develops feelings. 5 months later, Kang believes Dae-gil has demonstrated enough trust and loyalty to become a phony player like Charlie. Soon, Dae-gil is winning games and establishing himself as the best player in the den, earning Kang's favor and making Charlie envious. Dae-gil can now afford nice clothes and a nice apartment, so when he sees Ms. Woo crying in the parking lot because she lost yet again, he invites her to his place to learn how to play better. Ms. Woo hits on Dae-gil after a few hours of playing cards, who initially tries to think of Mina but eventually succumbs to Woo's advances. Since then, the two have started dating. Kang later selects Ms. Woo as their next victim to be bankrupted. The plan is for her to win for a while before striking and causing her to lose everything. Dae-gil warns Woo about the plan and asks her not to return to the den, but Woo ignores him and shows up anyway. Using the tricks Dae-gil taught her, Ms. Woo outwits the others and wins, causing the den to go bankrupt. Dae-gil needs a new place to make money after not hearing from Woo for a few days, so Charlie invites him to a private game with a rich man named Jang, who comes with a big surprise. The fourth player is Mina, who appears to be this guy's lover. The game begins in Dae-gil's favor, and Charlie believes they should quit while they're ahead and walk away with the cash. But Dae-gil wishes to keep going for bigger rewards. This proves to be a mistake when Mina distracts Dae-gil and he loses everything. Jang had been working for Kang and Seo all along because they had discovered Dae-gil had been dating Woo and believed he had helped her win, implying they wanted vengeance. Dae-gil hasn't paid a month after the game, so Jang sends his men after him to get his kidney as part of the payment. Dae-gil's hand is broken during the kidnapping. Jang accepts the kidney as well as Dae-gil's apartment and savings account, but it is still insufficient to cover his entire debt. When Kang is apprehended by the police and his employees flee, Dae-gil must do the same. Dae-gil manages to survive by sleeping in cafes and taking leftovers from other tables because he lacks money. Mina finds him one day and invites him to dinner, during which she explains that the game with Jang was a trap. Charlie had been collaborating with Jang all along, and the two men exchanged cards while Dae-gil was distracted by Mina. Dae-gil is enraged to learn that his best friend has betrayed him and vows vengeance, but Mina warns him not to act foolishly because he was supposed to marry her someday. Dae-gil relocates to a small town and begins gambling in smaller dens thanks to the money Mina gave him. He is caught cheating one evening, but he is assisted by another player named Mr. Go. They do not even recognize each other because they're both older, but this is the same man who delivered the money to Dae-gil's family all those years ago. Dae-gil is impressed by Mr. Go's ability to change Dae-gil's cards and cover his error while using a prosthetic hand, and he asks him to be his mentor. Mr. Go accepts just because Dae-gil reminds him of Hands of God, a legendary player Dae-gil is unaware is his uncle. Mr. Go teaches Dae-gil advanced gambling techniques and how to read people's body language. He even advises him that if he ever has to play naked, he should simply eat the extra card. They become excellent card partners and devise elaborate cheating schemes that allow them to win frequently again, progressing from small dens to larger ones. Dae-gil spots Charlie in the streets one evening and follows him to demand an explanation. Charlie sold Dae-gil because he was jealous that he had become the boss's favorite, but he's also poor now because he was duped. It turns out that Seo has been working with Madam Song and Ms. Wu to bring down Go Jang from the beginning, and Dae-gil now wonders if what he and Wu had was ever real. Charlie has also received devastating news. She has been sold as a result of Dae-gil's encounter with Mina. Dae-gil is furious and goes to the den where Mina was sold, only to discover that it is managed by Ghost, who is still alive and working for Jang. If Dae-gil wants to save Mina, he must win a game against her while only using one hand, and the winner must stab the opponent's hand. Dae-gil easily wins the game thanks to Mr. Go's teachings, but instead of stabbing Mina, he injures his own hand, which never fully recovers from the time Jang's men broke it anyway. Dae-gil attempts to leave with Mina, but Ghost stops them, explaining that the money Dae-gil earned from this game is insufficient to pay off her debt. Fortunately, Mr. Go appears and pays the remaining balance. Dae-gil wonders if someone can truly live a good life by only gambling after they return to Go's place and Mina falls asleep. Mr. Go explains that he only gambled because he was addicted, but there were 4 legendary gamblers once upon a time. One of them mysteriously fell off a train, the second lost his ear to the third, Agi, who is also the guy who cut Go's hand and is known to be evil. Misfortune is the fate of all gamblers, that is why the 4th legendary gambler, Hands of God, left during a massive game he was about to win, not wanting to have a dark future as well. If Dae-gil wants a good life with Mina, Go thinks he should quit as well. Sometime later, Dae-gil takes Mina out to dinner and learns what happened to her. Hyoung-chul, her brother, used to gamble with Ghost, and when Mina went to pick him up one night, she met Jang, who became obsessed with her. Jang devised a scheme to place Hyoung-chul with a gambling doctor, putting him in Ghost's stead, prompting Mina to appear to assist her brother by working as a hustler. While she was playing, Jang's men would put something in her coffee and then send her to stay the night with some of the clients, and Mina now considers herself a filthy woman. Hyoung-chul lost it when he found out what had happened to her and murdered the doctor who had duped him, for which he was imprisoned. Dae-gil explains that he doesn't care because he, too, is a dirty man who wants to spend his life with her, and the two finally kiss. Meanwhile, Jang is furious with Ghost for selling Mina and orders him to get her back regardless of the cost. Ghost dispatches his bodyguard to pursue the trio, and Dae-gil attempts to fight him, but the man is too strong. Mr. Go, seeing no other option, tackles the bodyguard off a platform, killing them both. Before dying, Go requests that Dae-gil leave him alone and not seek vengeance. Dae-gil refuses to listen and begins devising a strategy to reclaim Jang. Mina pays a visit to Hyoung-chul in prison in order to obtain the names of 2 criminal friends who are experts at setups. They make Madam Song lose everything with their help, and then Mina pretends to be a naive rich girl who Song can take advantage of. Mina initially pretends to lose, but once Song is duped into a false sense of security, she wins it all back. Dae-gil pays Song off to get them a game with Seo, whom Mina also defeats before handing him over to Go Jang so he can exact his revenge. All of this money enables Dae-gil and Mina to move into the nicer apartment and continue to compensate Hyoung-chul's friends for their assistance. Dae-gil then contacts Miss Wu again in order to use her to obtain Jang, offering her a commission as well. Jang, on the other hand, sees through Miss Wu's act and refuses to accept her as his new player. In fact, he suspects Dae-gil is using her. After Wu leaves, Jang becomes concerned that he will be robbed by Dae-gil soon and moves all of his money to an abandoned building that no one knows about. However, this had been the plan all along. As they were leaving, Wu touched Jang and planted a tracker that showed the group where the money was. To sweeten the deal, they only steal half of it and then send the cops to find the other half. Jang is under investigation for illegal gambling and officer bribery, so he flees and the government places a bounty on his head. Dae-gil goes to Wu to pay her, but when she sees him with Mina, she becomes envious and goes to Jang to tell him everything. Dae-gil and Mina are about to leave the country when they receive a phone call from Jang, who has kidnapped Kwak Do-won's friends and demands money in exchange for their lives. Dae-gil agrees to meet, and during the exchange, the thug who handed in the victims pulls out a knife to stab Dae-gil, but he was expecting dirty play. After apprehending the thug, Dae-gil sets fire to the suitcase and departs with his friends. Jang rushes to put out the fire and discovers the suitcase was full of fake money, so he and his men pursue Dae-gil, sparking a car chase through the city. Unfortunately, Mina never learned how to drive properly and crashes the car. While Jang is removing the money, Dae-gil mentions Mina has blood between her thighs and learns she was pregnant but lost the baby in the car accident. Mina is admitted to the hospital, where she is visited by Kwak Do-won, who was finally released from prison after Dae-gil paid off his bail when they started making money again. Meanwhile, Jang fulfills her end of the bargain with Wu before meeting with the men who will smuggle him out of the country. These men, however, are also paid by Wu and beat up Jang. Wu desires to leave, wondering she has won, but that these thugs are actually working for a ghost, who shows up, puts her to sleep, and then leaves with all the money after abandoning her on a pile of trash. When Wu returns home, she is astounded to find Jang there, who has also been thrown on a pile of trash rather than killed as she had requested. Ghost returns the money to the true boss, the legendary Agi, who has also lost several fingers. He quickly notices a tracker hidden inside the suitcase and believes they will be discovered soon. Dae-gil, as predicted, appears with Kwak Do-won, closely followed by Jang. An argument soon breaks out over who owns the money and who should kill who, so Agi proposes a solution, one last big game in which they bet not only the money but also their heads. Everyone agrees, and Jang proceeds to sell Wu in order to raise funds for the game, but she persuades him to bring her because she can help him distract Dae-gil due to their history together. Dae-gil receives his money from Jang, who wishes for Dae-gil's success in life, and a recovered Mina informs Kwak Do-won that she will be Dae-gil's partner because she does not want her brother to relapse into addiction. The game day arrives, and rules are established to prevent cheating. Everyone will play naked with only one hand, and Wu has brought the banned new sealed decks so that no one can use marked cards. The game starts normally, but soon something strange happens, and Dae-gil understands the cards Wu has brought can be viewed through if you know how to put your eyes correctly. Agi notices this as well and kicks Wu out of the game before switching decks. The game continues normally until Dae-gil is caught touching Mina's underwear. Agi stakes everything on Dae-gil having winning cards, and Jang stakes everything on Mina having a card hidden in her underwear, but they're both wrong. Dae-gil had only pretended to hide a card to trick his opponents and get an easy win. Jang and Agi are upset and dispatch Ghost to prevent Dae-gil and Mina from fleeing with the money, but Kwak Do-won is prepared and shoots Ghost's hand off. Jang then turns off the lights to surprise them, but Kwak Do-won kills him despite being injured in the struggle. Following that, Mina extends a helping hand to Wu, who declines. Kwak Do-won suddenly points his gun at Dae-gil and Mina and takes the cash from them before fleeing in their car. A few days later, the news reports that Kwak Do-won drove through the city while throwing money out the window, and that he was later discovered dead in the mountains. At home, Mina questions Dae-gil about what he did with the extra card during the game, and he confesses that he ate it exactly as Go had taught him. Their conversation is cut short by the arrival of a letter from Kwak Do-won, who admits that he only pretended to betray them to protect them, and that everyone now believes they do not have the money and will leave them alone. He included a map of where he hid the money in the letter so that his dear sister could retrieve it and begin a new life with Dae-gil. After getting the money back, Dae-gil throws away his last card deck, deciding to do his hands of God and quit gambling to have a better life.